psychologist and narcissism expert, Richard Grannon. Hi, Richard.
Oh, Seth, thank you for having me back on.
Always a pleasure, always a pleasure. Is he coming on screen? Is he there? Have we got a decent... Oh, there you are, there you are. Hello. Hello. No, is this a bit of... We've been having technical difficulties here at Talk Towers the last couple of days. Good to see you, Richard. Yeah, I want to ask you, you know, Meghan has been very manic the last couple of months, you know. I mean, she's obviously working on her As Ever food store and all that, and she's just released Chateau Meghan rosé wine and so on and so forth. But she's, you know, these blizzard of posts on Instagram, you know, more and more sort of semi-pictures of bits of her kid. You know, they have this obsession. You can't see their face, but they'll show you just a little bit in the red hair. And doing more and more appearances on podcasts. Just as I say, a blizzard of activity. And the backdrop to this is her business, As Ever, which is selling food, or seems to run out of food mostly. And I'm just wondering whether this kind of manic behaviour is somehow or other covering up for a certain failure on the business front.
Yes, it does seem to be that. Like the narcissistic personality disorder, and I'm not saying that she does have that, but if she did, it's fundamentally a disorder of compensation, and it's fundamentally a disorder of a deep-seated sense of unworthiness. And so all of the grandiosity and all of the effort and all of the showcasing of her abilities would be there to cover up that sense of unworthiness. If she's experienced narcissistic injury recently, she would feel driven to do more to compensate for that feeling of inadequacy and narcissistic depletion. So that could be one explanation for what's happening.
Yeah, I mean, not fair to diagnose her from, 5,000-6,000 miles away, and she's not on your couch or anything like that. But she does seem, you know, to my amateur eyes, to rather love herself.
Well, everything is cast into this very grandiose and delusional light. So, okay, so we're gonna be fair, and we're gonna say we can't say she has a personality disorder. She doesn't have NPD, but we can say her behavior narcissistic just by sticking to the mainstream definitions of narcissism. It's highly narcissistic behavior. It's very grandiose. It's very delusional, and it's very performative. It's very much about what can I convince people is true of me. She's very image focused, and that's undeniable. That's clearly the case. And as you rightly say, at the moment, it does have this tinge of desperation about it.
Yeah, I mean, would someone in her position, look, my this is just speculation, of course, I don't know the facts, but my impression is that As Ever isn't doing as well as she is trying to make out. And I get this feeling that with each new failure, she, you know, posts another picture on Instagram, does another podcast interview, says something to give the impression that it's like a supersonic success. You know, like when she released the wine on July the 1st, which would have been Diana's 64th birthday. That didn't go down well over here, I'll tell you, among the royal family. But she released that wine, and then fairly soon after, she put this post on Instagram saying, oh my, it's astonishing what you've done. I'm so grateful. We've sold out already. It's incredible. It's incredible. And I'm just wondering whether or not that is a huge exaggeration to cover up the fact that it probably isn't doing that well, her online shop.
No, I think the last time we spoke, I did say that the way she's acting is a little bit out of date. She wants to be a social media influencer of the type that was coming into popularity 10 years ago in 2015, 2016. People are burnt out with this. They see through it. Everybody's very social media savvy now, branding your own wine, branding your cookbooks. Her podcast didn't work. You know, she fundamentally, she really doesn't have that much to offer. And people know that. They feel it. And so they won't buy into it because they have so much choice online now. all of that would generate tremendous narcissistic injury. And I wonder what kind of pressures it creates within the relationship. If she's the main breadwinner, why did she marry Harry? What's he for if he's not the billionaire royal that she was hoping for? Why is she having to scrabble around and hustle and do these rather embarrassing product launches that never seem to quite take?
Yeah.
So yes, it must be very, very hard.
Yeah, I keep saying that the business model of As Ever seems very, very strange. That it's a strange business model to never have anything available. So she puts a product up for sale. Oh, the rosé's available, and about 10 minutes later, you go, we've sold out. She sells out of everything double quick, which would indicate she doesn't get enough product. She likes to say, or likes to give the impression that the sales are, off the scale, huge. But I just think she never has enough product, and I think she likes to pretend that these products are so popular that they just fly off the shelves. I just don't think she ever has enough. So it's a strange business model. Nothing is ever available. But you mentioned about the relationship between her and Harry. And as they might say in America, I'll probably get in trouble here for being sexist or something, but she does kind of wear the pants, doesn't she?
She's absolutely dictated the relationship from day one, and that's I don't lay the blame for the disaster that's occurred within the royal family unit solely at her feet. It's Harry's latent narcissism that drew him into this, and a little bit of weakness. And I don't know what his IQ is. I don't know how smart he is. I don't know how worldly and savvy he is. But absolutely, we can't deny the facts. Once he got into that relationship with her, he started to isolate from his family. He changed his language. He changed his dress sense. He absorbed her narrative completely. He's taken on her narrative, which means she's leading the relationship. So yeah, absolutely, she's wearing the pants. All this psychotherapy babble he uses now and social justice language he uses, that's Californian. She's the Californian, not him.
Yeah, he speaks like her now. He speaks like, I used to live in California. I know that language very well, and I also know that none of it makes any sense. It's pure gobbledygook. But yes, he speaks like that. But you mentioned then, Richard, that you think he's a narcissist as well?
I went back and looked at the interview on Oprah, and I think he's more of that kind of what we would call a fragile or vulnerable or a weak style of narcissist. She's more classically grandiose and bullying and tough, and he's a little bit more fragile, I think. So he would be quite insecure, probably riddled with feelings of shame and guilt, which I don't think she suffers from. I think she's quite thick-faced, hard-faced. She'll go for it and not really consider the consequences. I think that he does, but that doesn't mean that he doesn't have quite. I can't say he has a personality disorder, but the behavioral patterns are highly narcissistic, highly attention-seeking, histrionic, you could say. Yeah. He created so much unnecessary drama, and their behavior is so inappropriate and boundary breaking, right the way down to naming their child Lizabeth. It's such poor taste. Everything is done in such poor taste.
It is, isn't it? It is bad taste. So you asked about his IQ. I don't think it quite gets into double figures, but it's near enough. It's all about 8 or 9, something like that. But seriously, the Queen, via her cousin, revealed that what she felt about this relationship. First of all, she feared that Meghan didn't love Harry. She was engineering this relationship for obviously her own purposes. And what those two ladies, Lady Elizabeth Anson and the Queen, concluded was that poor dear sweet Harry was neither bright nor strong, but Meghan is both. And that's the dynamic of that relationship. Yes. Would you concur with that?
I give credit where credit's due. I have never never said that Meghan is a stupid person. I don't think she's thick, and you know, she's not lacking in face and brass neckedness and backbone. You know, she'll go for it, and she has. I mean, in many ways, she's succeeded. She's kind of managed to take control of him, remove him from his family, and now carries him around like some token sock puppet.
Yeah, but that would fit into the dynamic of this relationship, that she, as the Queen concluded, is bright. I don't think she's that bright. I think she's a lot brighter than Harry. But the Queen thought that she was bright and strong, and Harry was neither, was not bright and was not strong, was weak. That seems to make sense to me.
Yeah, it does, and it fits in with that sick narcissistic relationship, if indeed there is that problem there, where you have one person who's the grandiose narcissist, the classic narcissist, goes on, and a little bit of supply, a little bit of sympathy, but God bless him, he misjudges everything. He seems to be incapable of making the right move at any point. Even when he's trying to, you know, get back into the good graces of the British public, he says the wrong thing each and every time. Poor lad.
Yeah, he really does. Just before, we got a terrible line here, Richard, but we're just about making it through. But I do want to get you on that interview he gave, what was it now, a couple of months ago. It was after he failed in his latest legal bid to get armed police protection when he visits Britain. He wasted a lot of money and a lot of time pursuing that no-hoper case. And after he was told, no, you are not going to be treated like a frontline royal, because frontline royals work, they do their duty here. You're living in California, so you're not going to get what you want. And he was like a kid who didn't get what he wanted, throwing his toys out of the pram. And he gave that interview, and Petulant doesn't even begin to describe it. And he was spewing these bizarre conspiracy theories about his dad, the king, getting together with shadowy figures in the Home Office who wanted him dead, and so on and so forth. It was kind of this explosion of fury infused with a kind of weird conspiracy theory and mania. What do you think was going on in that interview? Was he just, like, furious that he didn't get his own way?
It did come across like that. I should apologise for the line. I'm currently in Dubai, and it's not a great signal. It was petulant. I think you're 100% right. It was also ill-informed. He was acting as though he wasn't going to receive any protection at all, and that wasn't the case. Obviously, they're going to protect him at all times when he's inside the country, and he's going to be treated to a special level of protection. It's just not the same level that would be given to a working royal. And so what he was fighting for was symbolic. But he was acting as though he was being left open to assassins. No, he wasn't. At no point was he being left open to assassins. And you're right, the justification for that was this really strange, again, boundary breaking, inappropriate. It's almost like he doesn't know he's talking in public, and that these things are forever. They last online forever. But basically suggesting his father was involved in a conspiracy against him in the way he'd been involved in a conspiracy against his mother. Even if you believe that, you shouldn't, in his position, say things like that publicly. Very